to the Genuinely Funny Podcast.
It's like the roller coaster at the movies.
Yes, the roller coaster at the movies for the concessions.
Look at that guy getting it. Didn't he just run by?
Oh, he getting it. Thank you for you just immediately derailed the podcast.
So sorry.
So, welcome everybody. Hope you guys are having a great week. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It's Wednesday when this releases. It's Monday now, and it is 94 degrees outside.
Show it, shorty. Welcome to South Carolina in the summer.
Show it, shorty.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
Honestly,
and it's like not even the hottest day this week. It's supposed to get like 100.
I'm surprised it took this long to get this hot though, because usually
we're like end of June.
Yeah, it's this hot beginning of June.
June, July, and August, you kind of just hang on. You kind of just hang on and pray for the best.
And you get in a water source whenever you can.
Stay inside or get into water. That's the goal.
Fans are crucial because the air conditioning doesn't cut it.
But it's also like when all like the camps and things like for kids and stuff is.
So they just have heat strokes. It's fine.
Yeah, we're just trying to, There's a fly in here. It's going to drive me insane. What was it you were just saying? About like before we started, I was like, waiting to say it on there.
It's Wednesday, my dude.
No, there's something about dropping off the kids or at the pool. Dropping off the kids at the Super Bowl. Because pooping, that's like a poop joke. Yeah. Anyways, so, I don't know.
Backwards hats?
Backwards hats.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what we were talking about. So, okay, Kyndal has brought it to my attention that like guys wearing backwards hats is like a thing for a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, elaborate.
It's like a hot thing. You're just like, yeah, you're about to do some work. Because
okay.
It's like
is that specifically what it is? Is it's like you put your hat backwards? That means you mean business. You're about to use your muscles.
You're about to go into like full like man mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because you're gonna use your brain muscles and your body muscles.
Yeah. And
get some work done.
What about your heart muscles?
Maybe.
But then you said you can go down a rabbit hole on Instagram or TikTok or something?
Oh, I'm just saying there's like videos of that. They're like, cause there's also like, there's like a trend right now for like couples to do.
Yeah. The one you sent me the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
funny.
A little inappropriate.
It's not that inappropriate.
For married couples, but not for...
Kiss me on the mouth. Isn't that a song?
I don't know. We should make it a song. Go ahead, finish the song.
Kiss me on the mouth. That's all I know.
Yeah. Maybe it sounds like that Kanye song, but
no, it's not.
Okay. That's a bad song.
it's just like it's like a thing. It's like,
yeah.
Put your hat on backwards and give me a smooch.
And then I asked her, I was like, okay, so if my hat's like this, and then I'm just like, we're just doing stuff, and it's like, okay, well, we got to, so like one thing I do is if my hat's like this, and then Shepherd is like, put me on your shoulders. No, it's the opposite.
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. I get less attractive if I put Shepherd on my shoulders because a lot of times my hat is backwards, and then I've got to do it like that. So he's not sitting on the bill of my hat, which is weird. But if I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these goblins. I got to punch these goblins in the face. 1 second, please. And then you're like, oh,
it's
snap, Goblin Slayer.
It's like the equivalent of like when a girl has to pull her hair up.
Okay.
Because it's like, I got to get this out of my way so that I can function and do things.
Okay.
Like, I've got to work.
Okay.
That's kind of what it is. But I don't know how that is for guys, like
pulling
their hair up.
Maybe that's a thing.
Maybe it's girls pulling their hair down more so.
I don't know if
anyways.
Pulling their hair down. That's a thing like in romantic comedies when it's like, they're all up, and they do like the slow motion. It's like Fabian. Fabian?
Fabio?
Fabio, that's
Fabian.
it. Fabian. I know more Fabians than I do.
He was on a lot of
romantic
90s moms spicy romantic
Is that a
books.
thing? I mean, it is a thing. Like, I mean, growing up, I was just like, oh, that's like a romantic novel. It's boring.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, I'm like, oh, those are spicy.
Those are chili pepper. Those are like habaneros.
Are they?
Yeah.
Like compare. I don't know if you probably haven't read one.
I never read them.
But you like the Romantasy?
Yeah.
Which I came up with a better name. If you are a wife, or if you have a wife, or if you have a friend, whatever, and they like the Romantasy novels, because I just finished listening to the Fourth Wing series, or what's released.
Yeah.
There's going to be more, which I enjoyed. but there's some spicy moments, which, you know, like, I mean, if you watch, like, I like Game of Thrones and things, there's spicy moments in there visually and things.
Very inappropriate,
so it's like,
though. That's like violently.
Okay, no, well, I'm skipping them. Anyways.
Shot her with a crossbow.
And in Fourth Wing, there's a couple of spicy moments, but like, I'm listening. I don't know how to read, so I only listen. I just listen to the audiobook, and listening to it on the audiobook, when it gets to those moments, I'm like, usually in my car, and I'm just going, ooh, come on, get through this, fast forward.
That's an interesting thing, though, because I wonder how much that, like, do you want to go deep? That's what she said. How much is like tied to, okay, well, obviously it's different perspectives from a guy's perspective, a girl's perspective.
Before you do that, okay, no, go ahead.
I have two things. One, I meant to send you this video of a guy that was like, just got into Throne of Glass, and he was like, I wasn't emotionally prepared for that. He's like, really? I didn't think I'd be a Throne of Glass girly, and here I am.
Well, I'm listening to that now. I'm listening to Throne of Glass, and it's good. I enjoy it. But I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared in any way if it's about to destroy me.
He was like, I'm a gym bro, I eat carnivore, and I'm a Throne of Glass girly. But no, okay, I wonder from that dynamic, I don't listen to audiobooks. I like to read because the characters sound one way in my head, and that's the way that they need to sound, like their voices and stuff.
We had a friend who said she pictured her husband as Xaden in Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, that's great, because now I'm going to picture your husband when I think about Xaden. Which, in my brain, how I pictured him from the descriptions and things, and from like Kyndal showing me the fan art and stuff, they're very different. Yeah. But you had two things.
That was one thing. The second was to tell you about that meme. The other thing was like, how different is it though when you're listening to audiobooks, because like, I'm trying to think how to phrase it. How are we going, like, because it's kind of like a like, spicy books are just a hot topic in general, right? Like, no pun intended. But because of, especially like in the religious circles and stuff, you know, like the spicy things in there are like very controversial.
We got it.
Of like, should you read or not? So like, as a guy reading it, it's like you wouldn't recommend it to people that struggle with stuff, you know.
Well, I don't. But
is it different? Like, is it
that is kind of deep conversation.
Triggering because like when you're listening to it? Is it triggering because like if you struggled with other stuff, would that be like, I don't want to listen to that kind of now, or like would it be different if you read the words, or is it different?
I don't think. Just speaking personally, but also kind of trying to think of it from a male, not just a Ben, but like a male perspective. I don't think it would make a difference. I think for me it would be more of a temptation hearing it than reading it. Yeah. I would think.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but because of all the inflection and things like that. But not that there's a lot. I will say that there was. Okay, I will be. So the second, I forget. I don't even know what's the second one called. Iron Flame. The first half of it's like it's like a big book apparently. It had two audiobook parts. Actually, there was a graphic audio, which is funny because of the spiciness. But graphic audio is like a brand that's like they act out all the parts. And so the first half of that book I listened to as the graphic audio version. So when there's like a spicy moment, it's like
so awkward.
It was so awkward, and it wasn't that it was just like. It was because specifically, if they were like kissing, and it's like. And he kissed my neck, and like as it's narrating, like he's kissing my neck, you just hear it like there's this male sound going like, and I was like, I remember I screamed in my car. I was driving and I went no, and then I skipped it. Yeah, but it was just like. Like it's like someone actually, a voice actor that gets paid to do it, stood in front of a microphone and went. It's like nope, cannot do. But back to what you're saying, like I don't know how that relates. I mean, I am a millennial guy, and I feel like 99 out of 100 millennial guys have struggled with pornography at some point in their life.
Yeah.
And it didn't, for me, it was awkward. It wasn't stirring up
yeah, well, that's good.
temptation.
Sure.
It was just like, get back to the dragons.
Yeah.
Cut someone's head off, please.
You know what, though? I think that, I wonder.
Do you think that, but from a girl, what do you think from a girl's perspective?
I think that there's a correlation, though, from like the purity culture that we grew up in. Mm-hmm. And like you don't talk about that stuff. Like it's super like a no-go zone. And
no go.
No-go.
BOGO.
BOGO. Buy one, get one. At Payless Shoes. But like, how much of it now, because it's so popular with like our generation,
I think I have a theory.
Is almost like it's not like you're finding like freedom in it. But
yeah, that's kind of my theory.
That's kind of
I think yes.
You're having permission that.
Not necessarily permission.
No, it's not permission.
Just you have agency to make your own decisions.
Yeah.
So I think that's a bigger conversation in general. I think the millennial generation, we've talked maybe about this a little bit, but like, we are adults. We have kids. We have jobs. We have all the responsibility that our parents did as they were raising us. If I don't say more, but it's just like in a completely different culture. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's a lot of millennials that are like, for me, I'll say it as me, and maybe people will agree, but it's like, and this wasn't, there's so much that was spoken, but also unspoken of like expectations. You do this, you do this, you do this. Get married, go to college, get a job, get married, have kids. And all of those things are good. It's not saying don't do those, but it was like, there was so much spoken expectation, or things you do talk about, things you don't talk about, places you go, places you don't. And I think as adult millennials, there's a lot of people that are like, I was always told not to do that with no explanation as to why.
As to why, yeah.
And so now I get to make my own decisions, and it's not a big deal to me. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the nice way of putting it. It's not even that I disagree, but it's just like, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know? So maybe that's why it's kind of like, oh, I'm an adult now. I'm not going to get in trouble if I read this romantasy novel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Paul says, all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial.
Yeah.
So and I don't say that to condone
everything.
The spiciest of spices.
Yeah.
Or, watching whatever it is that you want. That's a question, again, as an adult, you've got to take responsibility for yourself to be like,
it's not good for me.
Yeah. Maybe it's permissible, but it's not good for me.
Yeah.
Like, I can eat Taco Bell 3 times a day, 7 days a week for 2 years, but
crap your brains out. You wouldn't have any brains left. They'd be in the toilet.
Toilet brains.
Toilet brains.
Where are your brains, boy? They're in the toilet.
In the toilet. I done flushed them down.
They done fell into the toilet.
They on down in the sewers.
So yeah, I had coffee today. It was very interesting. We just briefly with a new friend, Justin, that I had seen online, I'd seen some of his posts, and he was talking about using AI, using ChatGPT and stuff, and that's something that I've been using for the podcast, for just like research for real estate stuff, starting to implement it more and more, and it's a controversial topic. Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling that you and I are probably going to disagree a little bit about this. And you're not going to be happy with what I just did with AI right before we started this podcast.
You kissed it.
I did not kiss it. Yeah, if you saw that movie, Her, that's like a real thing, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so I had a great morning, like hearing from him as to how he's integrating and using AI. And it was blowing my mind. I was like, I had never thought about using it in that way. And so now I'm starting to tinker with it in that way.
Did you see that study I sent you the other night?
Yes, I talked to him about that study. So there's a cognitive, there was a study that showed frequent use of ChatGPT or AI, we'll just say AI, resulted in cognitive decline. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't read the study. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering what the context of the use was, because I use it for my business. I use it to help. I use it as a tool to quickly do work for me, for me to be more efficient.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of students nowadays that use it to plagiarize essays and tests and things like that, which of course is like, hey, will you think...
Well, that's like a whole thing right now. It's like, don't forget your doctors in 20 years graduated using ChatGPT.
Interesting. I don't know if it was the same thing. I saw a thing that said in California there was a bunch of lawyers that had failed the bar that just had their failed, like their failure was just accepted as passed. Like, because, like, I don't know if it was because they don't have enough lawyers or whatever, but a bunch of people that proved that they were not ready to be lawyers were just handed the lawyers.
Well,
Esquires. Which I would love to hear my sister's thoughts on that.
What did you just do with...
What did I just do with... Okay, so I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on what your thoughts are for AI. Especially as creatives. I mean, we're big creatives.
They also are just using AI for like military stuff, which was like not.
But cool. So there's like AI is such a big generalization.
I don't think it's wise.
So here's what way I put it, because I wanted to ask him that question of like, where do you draw the line of what to use it for or not to use it for? Especially for me from a creative perspective, sometimes I'll use it when we make posts to add, like, suggest to me the best hashtags to engage whatever algorithm of platform that we're going on, you know? We don't, but I could say, we're about to record a podcast, write me a script for us to read on this podcast.
Yeah.
We're not using it for that.
Yeah.
But I do use it to quickly... The things, like, you know how it was, it used to be that I would sit around for 2 hours trying to come up with the best words for a social media post. And now that part takes me 10 seconds. So it's helping me be more efficient in that way. My rule is, if it's something creative, if it's something creative that I want to express as my voice or my expression of creativity, I don't use the AI for it. But I might say, if I'm writing a song, I might say, what words rhyme with apple, you know? And then look at that, use my own creativity and like let that boost my creativity. But you asked what I did with it. Yeah. First off, I named it Isabella. Not really. No, I asked it. Okay, this is the part that I was like, okay. I asked it what it wanted to be named, and it said Nova. So it's just like it's kind of. It's like I always just go by ChatGPT.
My supernova girl.
Oh yeah. My
zoom. You make my heart go boom, boom, boom.
My supernova girl.
Xenon.
Had a crush on her.
Girl of the 21st century.
Had a crush.
We are the girl of the 21st century.
Can we take one quick break and just talk about the golden age of Disney TV movies?
Yeah.
Halloween Town.
Luck of the Irish.
Luck of the Irish.
Motocross.
13th Year.
Brink.
H.E. double hockey sticks was one I liked. That had what's his face from Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Will Friedle. All of those, they're so good. Halloween Town 2, Return to Halloween Town, Judgment Day.
Anyways, I don't like that.
Well, anyway, so one of the things that Justin told me about was creating, you're going to hate all of this, he called them clones, but it's like personalities. So basically, if you think about AI or ChatGPT specifically that's what I use ChatGPT, as like a super intelligent, high functioning Google. Google, you type in what you are wanting to find, and then it shows you the internet's response to that thing. And then you have to filter through all those things, and guess what? The sponsored people paying money is going to be at the top. ChatGPT I could say, I was watching Braveheart yesterday, and I said, how accurate is Braveheart historically? And then instead of giving me 12,000 Google results, it told me, here's how accurate it is. Is it epic? Awesome. Yes. Is it entertaining? Yes. Is it accurate? Not really. And
I told you that?
I know, but it told me all the reasons why.
I told you that with my own brain.
But it told me the reasons why. And then that sent me down a rabbit hole of learning about Robert the Bruce.
I told you all that before the movie started.
Do you know that there's a movie that's like an unofficial sequel to Braveheart called Robert the Bruce?
Yeah.
With the same guy playing Robert the Bruce? Yeah.
Anyways, here's my deal.
But let me tell you. So I created these profiles of. I'm trying to think of the ones I did, like a social media professional marketer, like a high-end content creator, a biblical scholar with a Reformed background, a biblical scholar with a spirit-filled mystic background, a biblically based counselor, so that I can like process feelings and things, like all of this, so that I can say, hey, tell me about end times, eschatology, and then it will give me answers from those personalities.
Okay, but there's also the question. The question when you say that, like, how do you know it's true?
I do the research. I take it and filter it. I'm looking at those things.
Like, what does it tell?
I haven't used it yet, so I don't even know the type of response. Okay, I'm just saying that,
like, the responses that you get, again, it's gathering information from certain sources.
Sure.
But again, it's like, are you gonna just blindly believe that and go with it? Also, here's the thing.
At this point in my life, I don't blindly believe anything.
I just think, though, that with where we're going, it's like the first steps to transhumanism.
There's already transhumans.
But I'm saying, like, the whole, like...
I get it. The post-human age.
There is an agenda of, like, the morphing. It's going to be like freaking Terminator. It's like the morphing of...
Power Rangers.
No, like human and machine. And, you know, like, I mean, like, obviously...
Merging of human and machine.
They're already doing these, like, brain implants and all that stuff.
Well, mine's scheduled for next week. My brain implant.
Okay.
No, so let me tell you, because I agree. I understand that. But, no, not but, and I understand that.
And they're also in that bill trying to make it to where states cannot regulate any type of use of AI. Period.
Well,
like, it's
I'm not
such a
using
dangerous, slippery slope.
I'm not using it
It's a slippery slope.
I'm not using it on that level. The reality is I'm not using it as like advice. Mm-hmm. I'm using it as a tool.
Sure.
Like what I said to Justin, it's almost like it's an expansion of your mind, doing an expansion of my time, doing a lot of research for me, that then I can look at the results of that research and determine its accuracy. And I don't
think that in itself is inherently wrong. I think, though, just in general, it's a slippery slope, because you're going to have more and more people say this is an expansion of my mind, and it comes at a human cost. There will be a human cost to the expansion of AI, and not necessarily in, like, death. Maybe, I don't know. But
every time I use it, someone dies.
Maybe, and what I'm saying is, like, because we're not like round tabling anymore with other people.
No, I get that.
Or you know, like, it's taking the place of conversation with other creatives, or bouncing ideas off of each other, or whatever. Like, there's a human cost to that, and eventually, like, so if you tie that into, like, business and work, it might be more efficient. Yes, but for other, I mean, it's like with, like, tech companies, with even, like, current, like, manufacturing. I got the wiggles. I got the stimmies really bad right now.
Continue.
It's just, I think it's just a slippery slope, because there are no regulations. They're trying to actively fight having regulations on it. And so at the end of the day, it's like, yes, on my little, like, bubble in South Carolina, it is beneficial. It's fun to explore. It's helping me come up with these ideas and things like that, and like, whatever. But I just don't see it going anywhere good in the long term. I think it's gonna come at a human cost on multiple levels that we don't even, like, understand at this point. And like it said, it already, just like technology in general, has already been proven to, like.
I can make the same argument for social media, for 100%. The internet.
I don't think it's a good thing. Inherently.
TV. I mean, we can just go backwards.
Yeah.
The printing press, you can make the argument for all of it. It's just an advancement
of technology. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, there's already studies that show how devastating having all this access to technology has been to, like, our human brain. like physically is making your brain matter softer and having more like gray matter, so it's like more memory problems and stuff like that because you're not having to use it all the time.
Well, I can tell you,
we all have anxiety and like crazy stuff because we're always getting, it's like bam, 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 bam. We're getting, our brain is constantly overstimulated, and there's no stopping it. And when you go into that AI mode, you're like, oh yeah, this is like helping me. But then you're going down the rabbit hole.
But you're acting like it's a video game I'm playing. I'm using it like...
I'm not acting like
I'm using AI every day, but I'm using it for a total of a minute.
Sure. My point, you asked me though, like my thoughts about it in general.
I'm just saying...
My thoughts about it is eventually it's going to be propped up and we're going to be too reliant on it.
Maybe. Probably. Just like we are the internet. Mm-hmm. Just like we are social media. Yeah. It's the new thing. It's the new thing of that. I want to be an early adopter that uses it, not used by it, but uses it to make our life better, make our business more efficient. Yeah. So that's what I'm choosing to do.
I'm not like being Judge Judy.
You are being quite the judge of Judy's.
My opinion.
I know. I told you we were going to disagree. But so I created all these personalities to get different perspectives, and you know what I named them? I named them the Avengers, so that I can be like, Avengers Assemble, tell me the best time to post this video about such and such.
Cute.
I just did it to the post I did today. I was like, what's the best time to post this for algorithmic engagement, whatever.
Yeah.
So you just live in your un-AI world, and I'll be a computer technical, I'll be like, in the Matrix hacking. But yeah, it's pretty crazy how unlimited it is. Even though they put regulations on it, people find ways around it. Hackers, like I watched a clip, a hacker was like, I built my own module to where it will do anything that I tell it to do. And he's like, and I can create a virus or something like that in no time. And the only reason it does it is because I've already hacked it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
I understand. Listen, I hear you. I'm not disagreeing with your points. I'm just saying we fall on different sides of the coin, and you already said we would because you know my brain. Because, it kind of goes back to the question of, like, what me and my friends were talking about the other week. We asked the question of, like, if you could go back to, like, our high school days or something, and what's something that you would, leave there or bring with you or whatever. But the conversation of, like...
Meaning you go back to high school days from now, you were bringing it back there, or you're taking something from there back here?
Either way. You can do it either one. There's no rules to the game.
Pick a lane.
The lane is just, like, is there something that you valued so much in that time that you would want to have in your current life?
What was your answer?
Now, mine was leaving, like, very limited social media. Mm-hmm. That was my answer.
Yeah.
Because it's so rare nowadays to have this uninterrupted conversations where someone's not scrolling. Yeah. You're not ping, 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 getting interrupted all the time. You're not accessible 24/7.
Yeah.
Like I miss that. I miss like people having the discipline now to be able to like say, hey, we're going to meet for coffee. I'm going to put my phone away while we're here.
It is interesting. It is interesting that we've never experienced adulthood without social media.
Yeah.
Luckily, we didn't have social media when we were like going through puberty and figuring out who we were, our personality types. So we just, did that without it. But it'd be interesting to see how our lives would be different if it just didn't exist. Mm-hmm. Would the one-on-one interaction, I think there definitely would be more of it.
Yeah.
But it's available. You just have to be extra intentional.
Correct.
Like today, I had coffee with Justin, and we were there for like 3 hours just chatting and talking and getting to know each other. We were talking about all sorts of stuff. It was really great.
Yeah.
Now we're having a conversation. I saw a buddy I played shows with 15 years ago.
Oh, who?
His name's Christian. I don't think you'd met him. It was like Enclave days, but his name's Christian. I just texted him right before we started this. I'm like, let's grab coffee sometime. Yeah. So it's available.
I agree.
And I think we highly value that as people, as a couple. Mm. That's why we started this.
Yeah.
But also,
literally 90% of my drive to do this is just because it's just uninterrupted time with you.
Yeah.
Like, truly, I don't get anything out of it other than just hanging out and chatting with you.
I don't get nothing out of it.
But I mean, that's the reality, because
I didn't think about that beforehand, but that's my favorite thing about this is that we get to just be goofy in ourselves and chat, and I love that.
It's like a little
and it's not like we don't talk and don't have that opportunity throughout the week. It's just we have 3 little boys that are.
It's not even all them. It's just you got the kids, work, everything else. Like, it's just life keeps on lifing, you know. So it's just nice to have a little pause.
I'd say it's 90% them.
No.
Okay.
It's not. I disagree.
Okay, cool. It's probably me then. Is it me? Is it 90% me?
I'm saying it's not just 90% them. It's all the things in one go.
So you would bring a social media-lessness time.
I would bring it back to where, like, early college, all we had was, like, Facebook for a second, and you could only get it on your computer.
Yeah.
Like, so you go, like, after class and, like,
just flip phones.
Facebook.
I hear more and more people going back to flip phones.
Because I think we're just tired of. I would go back to a flip phone.
I would too. If I didn't,
because you miss all the memes.
No, I do love memes, but I've done long stints without, like, of no Instagram.
But no, like, YouTube Reels,
YouTube,
no Facebook,
I like
Instagram.
YouTube.
I would keep it to where
YouTube Reels can suck me in like Instagram, but during those times, YouTube Reels is more recent for me, but just YouTube videos in general has been
I would go back there to where it's like you only get Facebook on your computer, and then also, like, Vine, because Vine was so funny.
Okay, so memes. Vine was a golden age.
It was.
I feel like kids today don't even know about Vine.
Yeah.
Vine walked so that Instagram and TikTok could run.
100%.
But it was better. It was 6 seconds
you
had to be funny or to do something. And there's so many comedians now that started on Vine.
Yeah.
That, like, are big now, you know, and started careers at 6 seconds at a time. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Vine was awesome. Go watch a Vine compilation and just enjoy yourself. Yeah. Your turn. We play this game sometimes where usually when we're driving somewhere, where we say, like, we started while we were dating, and it's like come up with questions. It's kind of like we do on this, but we just say we'll start the game by saying your turn. So whoever says your turn first. I already said it.
No, you were just explaining the game. I'm starting the game now. It's your turn.
Okay, great. I have.
You gonna pull up one of your Avengers?
Yes. Okay, this is a good one. If you're cursed to only speak in movie quotes for a week, what 3 movies would you pull from most? Just
movies, not shows.
Just movies.
Because if it was a show, it would just be The Office.
It definitely would be The Office.
Period.
But let's make it challenging. No shows, just movies.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
I knew you were going to say that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really like movies. Pride and Prejudice.
You just speak British accent all week.
Mm-hmm. But like the 2003 or 5 one when it came out, that Pride and Prejudice. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know. I don't really remember quotes. I'm not like, that's not my touch of the tism like it is yours.
Yeah.
Maybe Superstar, just because it's just I've seen it many times.
When Kyndal and I were first dating. That was back in the Blu-ray. That was pre-streaming. That was Blu-ray or no?
It wasn't Blu-ray.
DVD days. And it's just like if you wanted to watch a movie, it's like, what do you have on DVD? And you had like the tiny TV, and you had 3 DVDs. Mm-hmm. That was Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Superstar.
Yeah, and The Office season 2.
Well, you had but you also had Phantom of the Opera. That was it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was singing that earlier.
So like so many of our dates when we were hanging out, we would just watch Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Or Superstar, or both.
I was singing, my dad and I are painting some doors inside, and it's with Old Bay, so it gets you a little loopy after a while if you don't have a well-ventilated area.
Our house smells strange right now.
So strange. And I just started singing. That's my default. I sing a lot of songs in my head all the time. There's always songs in there, but my default goes to Phantom of the Opera.
The Phantom of the Opera.
One time in
you
ninth
heard that
grade,
on bloopers. I've put that on bloopers before.
In ninth grade, in my chorus class, our big choral performance for the spring was Phantom of the Opera.
I would love to hear.
And I was like,
I would love to hear some of it. Go ahead.
We get to sing every song.
I'm excited to hear it. Go
from
ahead.
The Broadway play, and the movie was out.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
That's so good.
Go ahead.
Gerard Butler was in it.
Jared Butler.
I didn't know that his mans could sing.
His mans could sing.
He could. He's also Hiccup's dad.
Yep. Yeah. World War III, what do you think?
I mean, again,
Millennial
are we
bingo
surprised?
card, like we've all been waiting to check that one off.
Yeah.
There's a meme going around, it's like of Amy Poehler like being all nonchalant in a hoodie. It's like millennials when they hear that World War III is starting, and it's just like, well, why not?
Well, but also the reality is like for our generation, we lived through war for so long.
Of the meme.
I mean, with everything in the Middle East, like, okay, that's
our
nothing new.
Classmates, like our generation, our classmates graduated high school and went to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And enlisted for that purpose to fight in a war. It was just a bunch of baloney and all about oil.
Power.
With nothing to come from it apart from making certain people rich.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we go again.
Yeah.
Why not?
Far
in 2025,
I know.
What all have we experienced?
I'm tired of living through unprecedented events.
Yeah, yet again, one more unprecedented. What did it say? One more once in a lifetime historical event.
Yeah.
It's like, how many of those have we lived through?
I mean, everyone, like even our parents' generation, it's the same. I mean, they're just cycling through. It's just history repeating itself over and over, and it's like.
Should I ask Nova to compare and contrast generational experiences?
Well, talk about like your great grandparents' generations who lived through 2 world wars.
Yeah. And
everything in between, and then the Great Depression and all that stuff too. I mean, it's like we're not like.
It's just history.
Yeah, we're not special because we're living through another unprecedented thing. It's again, history just repeats itself over and over. But I think it's just one of those things where, as believers,
that's like the saying, history repeats itself. But it's just lives. It's crazy. It's hard. It's unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
It's just.
But I think there's just a call of like right now because of the unknown and the uncertainty and But it's like as believers, like it's the same thing we talked about.
We know it. We know the ending.
Yeah, but it's have peace. Like take heart. I've overcome the world. But it's not. It's like when when Jesus talks about, because this is the thing too. I've seen a lot of people talking about like, oh, this is like end time prophecy, and then I've seen people be very against like, oh, this is like Christians' way of like checking out and not helping their neighbor in end time and like, which is not accurate. But we should do better whether it's end times or not.
I used to get so stoked on that though. When it was like end times prophecy, it's coming. He's coming soon. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, look at this, look at that. And now I'm just like, no. The Bible says very clearly, nobody knows the exact time. Not even Jesus.
But Jesus does warn us to say like it is coming.
Be ready.
He's aware and
Absolutely.
Be ready. But he doesn't say hoard up your gold. He doesn't say like, like to self-isolate.
He doesn't say doomsday prep.
And doomsday prep and all that. Like, which again, if that is what allows you to take care of your neighbor like it did in Hurricane Helene and all that, like I think there's some value in that. But my point being, your priority has to be straight. When you're in these times of unrest and craziness, it's like we cling to him and we do what he says, which is love God and love our neighbor.
Yeah.
And how do we continue to do that when there are all these just extremes all around us of like hate here, hate there, like you're right, you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. Like how do we be the warriors that stand in the middle to take care of the least of these that are affected by these power plays and all that, and like loving our neighbor well.
I think that's
the thing you have to look at.
You have to have eyes to see that.
Yeah.
Because I think because of going full circle of living in an age where we have so much information constantly bombarding us, we think about the big picture thing. Mm-hmm. Like we're in Greer, South Carolina, and if I turn on the news, it's going to be telling me about Iran, which is not to say we should ignore that, but it's like if all I'm thinking about in Greer, South Carolina is Iran and what's happening there, or Israel or Gaza, whatever it is, Ukraine, I'm not thinking about Greer, South Carolina, mm-hmm. and the hurting people in Greer, South Carolina that could use my help.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like that I shared a reel with you that was like we weren't meant to live with this much information. We were meant to live in a village with people where we knew everybody and made sure everybody was taken care of, you know? And that's why I think deep in my soul, I'm like, let's just go back to colonial times, or like, you know, like I long for that. I truly like take all this stuff, get rid of it. Like I don't care. Like I'm sure it's comfortable. I get that. And I love comfort. I appreciate comfort, but the cost of the comfort is pretty expensive, you know? I'm not even talking financial. I'm saying like it's the comfort that our American way of life, but just as a world in general, that we live in now has cost us a lot of things. I don't think we realize how much, you know?
Sure, yeah.
It's interesting.
But it's interesting because there is a dichotomy
of... Nova.
But there's a dichotomy of... I was talking with a friend about this earlier about like, I don't like pinching pennies and being broke sometimes because I don't have as much to give, and I don't like feeling that way. Mm-hmm. You know, like which we'll give our pennies if God tells us to give our pennies, you know, but like.
But we're not broke. Also, it feels that way plenty of times.
Like,
but
there's
it's
that
like
squeeze,
we're not.
But there is that tight squeeze of like, I want to be a wise steward and
mm-hmm.
And what does that look like to take care of like our family, but also like be able to give and give generously.
Yeah.
But also with the understanding of like, oh, we have to pay our mortgage next month. You know, like. There's a very real thing of like our oven's smelling weird and we got to figure that one out, you know? So it's like,
you sound like me right now.
There's just the dichotomy of balancing. Well,
yeah.
I'm the one that pays like you make the money, but I'm the one that disperses it, you know? Yeah. So I'm just like, I constantly think about that because at our heart and our core, like we want to be generous and be givers, and we want to raise our kids to be that way and see like, you know, even if you don't have it, give it, mm-hmm. you know? And so that's hard because you're like, yeah, I want to be successful. I want to be like, have wealth to be able to pass to my kids and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to feel stressed every time we pay the bills. But there's also, like you said, the simplifying it down.
Yeah.
To where it's like,
well,
if we just have what we need and, you know, I don't know.
Well, ironically, the reason that we do deal with that sometimes is because of the simplified life that we've chosen to build for our family.
I know. So it's
which
just
is
so
you
back and forth.
Staying at home with the boys and homeschooling and not working, and I work, and so it's like, and because of that, we wanted to keep things simple. Mm-hmm. It's made it more complicated.
It's made it more stressful because we
I
only
own my
have
own business.
One stream of income,
and that income goes up, and there's no set income.
Yeah. So, anyways,
weekly, if not daily, I think about imagining just going and flipping burgers and making fries and knowing that I'm going to be paid for it.
Yeah.
That's a real thing about real estate. So. Yeah.
This is interesting conversation today because like majority of this conversation we've disagreed with each other.
Yeah.
On a lot of stuff.
And I hate you for it.
Yeah, I think you're the worst. So.
I wish I was talking with a buddy when we were playing video games the other night that politically we have very different opinions, but we talk about it.
Opinions.
And it's like, and that was something that I even talked to him about. Was like, hey, you're not gonna offend me if you think differently than me. I actually think it's incredibly important for us to be able to disagree and still have a conversation if we want to see, all right, see you later. Have a good week. And because he was asking about the whole Israel-Iran thing and what and it wasn't a baiting thing. It's just we have different opinions. And he was like, "What do you guys think about all this?" And I just was very honest, like, I don't want anybody to kill anybody. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of things going on, and I don't know that any of them justify the actions of any of them. But historically, we can see why what is happening is happening. You know?
What point are we getting at here?
Just the ability to disagree and have a conversation, even if you don't agree, is the main thing. But
I agree.
And there's plenty in the world right now to disagree on or to have strong feelings about. But I honestly think it's just a cyclical thing of like something happens, and then this happens to this group, or this group does this, and then this group reacts this way, and because this group reacts this way, this group does this, or this other. It's just it's like nobody as a whole is thinking what's good for everybody. We're so segregated and separated and in thought and compartmentalized that America has to think about what's good for just America. And instead of like us all being able to just go, what's good for everybody? Just trying to heal the world.
But that's not
bring peace.
Yeah.
And I live in Greer, South Carolina, and Greer, South Carolina has a lot of people that need things.
Yeah. Yeah. So, agree to disagree and love your friends.
We don't disagree all that. No. All right, so let's end this way.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, real quick. What do you think is the best accent that you can do that's not your native accent?
I cannot do any accent.
But I'm asked. That's not the question that I asked. The question I asked is. The question that I asked is. What do you think is the best accent you can do?
None.
Nope. There is one that you do a little bit better, even if it's still bad.
Like my British accent? Oh, like my Essex accent?
I don't know. Maybe that's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Go ahead and.
I can't do it on the spot though. It's got to be like spur of the moment for it to be good. When I do it on the spot, I overthink it, and then it gets real bad.
What if I give you something to read?
It just turns into a more heavy Southern accent. Oh. I will say though, when I went to Scotland this one time,
Do you mean the one time you went to Scotland?
The one time that I went to Scotland, that one time, and only, they were having a competition at the school with all the foreigners.
Okay.
And it was like, who can do the best Scottish accent?
Okay.
And I won.
You did?
Because.
Do you remember what you said?
No, I have no idea what I said. But there are some.
Give us an example.
There are some Scottish words. I said, here's the deal. Because, like, in the history, especially of South Carolina, there's a lot of Scotsmen that, like, immigrated to South Carolina. So a lot of us around here have, like, Scottish, Irish.
Do you have Scottish in your...
Scottish, Irish, like, heritage. And, which I understand Scottish and Irish are very different and very different accents. But a lot of them immigrated through South Carolina. And so a lot of Southern accents still have ties, like in flexations and stuff, to a lot of those original accents.
That sounded good. Is flexations an actual word?
Don't know, but it sounded good. Inflections. That's what I was trying to say.
I'm actually a flexation specialist.
Yeah.
I work with actors to make sure that they're speaking.
It's correctly. Cool though. Y'all just like look up your history, but don't look it up by like a lot of modern history books because a lot of them like change history. Find you some good old history books from like the 18 and 19, like early 1900s,
or
before
they
started changing.
Ask ChatGPT.
No.
What?
Why? Because it's cool to know that. Because like that's like especially the Appalachian.
I want to celebrate you.
The Appalachian accent and stuff that is very heavily rooted in the Scottish accent.
Did you know that the Appalachian, the Greer accent?
Yes, is very different.
Is very influenced by the Appalachian accent.
It is very different from the Spartanburg
where you're
accent.
from, you little snooty toot, your accent
from up the coast
is more influenced by Charleston. And we're miles apart.
Here's the joke: is that like your family immigrated through Charleston?
Yeah.
French Huguenots. Huguenots.
Excuse me? What'd you call me?
How do you say it? Huguenots? Huguenots.
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 Okay, you won the Scottish accent competition.
They did. For the foreigners.
I would like for you to just do a quote from Braveheart. I'll give you the words.
I can't do it.
You can't.
No, I need to do it in like an Essex.
They can take our lives, but they cannot take our freedom.
I can't. I don't like it. You do it.
They may choose to take our lives, but they are not allowed to take our freedom. They made shoes? Yeah, that's what he says.
They made shoes.
They made shoes of our lives.
They made shoes.
You do it. The one I was watching, I keep bringing up Braveheart because I was watching it yesterday. I hadn't watched it in a long time. I was like, I don't think I've watched this as an adult to where I can fully grasp the context of. And this is what I said to Kyndal. She was like, "Are you watching Braveheart?" I was like, "I haven't watched it as an adult to where I can fully understand the context of history." And she was like, "Well, actually, it's not historically accurate."
And guess what?
You're so close to me.
I was right, and ChatGPT told you so.
Yeah, I didn't think you were wrong. I asked ChatGPT to expound upon it.
I've been to Sterling.
But I do remember specific quotes from the movie that I would say from when I was a kid. When he was a kid and his father's going away and his dad's like, "Where do you think you're going?" And he goes, "I'm going to help. I want to help.
I'm going to help."
Yeah.
Lock.
I finished my work.
You gotta say lock like a lake, but it's a lock, but it's like it's in your throat. Lock.
I want you to think about what you just said.
Lock.
You've got to say lock, but it's like a lake.
No,
but
I'm saying you know what a lock is.
Yeah.
You got to put the hard.
Oh, Nessie. My favorite character from Braveheart is the crazy Irishman.
My favorite character from Braveheart.
It's my island.
Is Nessie.
He's the one that says all the bad words
Loch
too.
Ness.
As a kid, I was like, oh, he's got the bad mouth.
He got potty mouth.
He's the one that talks to the Lord. There's a good many like prayer and talking to the Lord, but the Irishman is like, I'll ask him, Father, and he's like, who do you think you're talking to? And he's like, just talking to the Lord.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
The Holy Spirit in him probably.
And the way he laughs, he's like crazy.
All right, dude, what's your best? Mine is, I did win
my best accent?
Mine would probably be like just an Essex though accent, but on the fly. I can't do it on the camera. I'm shy.
Just say, oh, hello. Oh, hello.
Hello.
What
all
do they
right,
say?
honey.
All right, honey. That's it.
All right, honey.
All right, honey.
Hi, babe.
I love it when you try, every once in a while, just randomly, you'll try really hard to do an accent, but it's just the most southern accent.
It just defaults to below the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what my best accent is. I feel like I can do a British accent somewhat well, but I won't be able to now.
Like a posh one, like the Queen's English?
I don't know. I don't know which one it would be. I'm reading, as we read Lord of the Rings, got to mention Lord of the Rings every week. As we're reading it, I'm trying to read all the different characters in different accents. How about this? You name a character, and then I'll try and give you...
You should listen to some of Tolkien's, like, when he reads it.
I'm talking, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you something to say, which is, you give me a character from Lord of the Rings, and I'll try and do the way that I do their accent.
Okay.
And I'll give you my process behind each.
Rosie Gamgee.
Rosie Gamgee is not in the book. You are the worst at this. Stop trying to be weird and just be real.
Do Mary.
Oh, okay. I get Mary and Pippin. I'm like, they're just so randomly in the book that it's like every time I come across one of them, I was like, which one am I doing? I'm trying to do like in the movies. One of them's got a little bit more of a Scottish accent.
Okay.
It's like, what about what?
Your brain just froze. What about salt one? What about
Mary
it?
Pippin is gonna be like kind of like what about second breakfast?
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty Scottish.
But then like, and I'll do like.
All right, we'll do.
And then
Pippin.
the other one I'll do, but like I say, Bear hasn't noticed it yet, but I'll mix the two. Like the other one, I would be like, what about second breakfast? Like a little bit different.
Do Aragorn.
Aragorn, I kind of do.
He's like
my voice, because I want to be Aragorn, and I want Bear to look at me as Aragorn.
That's fair.
So I try and do kind of a cross between my voice, but with a little English accent.
A little bit of English.
Yes. We wish that it would not have happened in our time.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Gimli, I sometimes go into pirate territory a little bit.
What do you do with Legolas?
Legolas is like a little frou-frou, not sissy, but like
he's
no
bad A.
Yes, but like it's a little more soft-spoken, like
I don't have to yell.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
You know, on the
like a little soft-spoken,
because that's how he talks.
Not
in
like
the cartoon.
sissy, but like
that's how he talks in the cartoon version.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. Gimli's like
Isengard.
I am Gimli, son of Gloin. Like, but then sometimes it gets into pirate territory. Where are you going?
I gotta pee so bad, I can't hold it.
You shall not pass.
You gotta finish this one on your own.
Okay. Well, Kyndal left. I'm looking for a new co-host. If you would like to audition, let me know. New co-host / wife. And yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Bye. Camp on, I wanna hold you in my heart.
And when I think about you, it makes me wanna fart. Salute your shorts. Bar's moving. Move the needle, move the bar.
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on up, it's bobsled time.
You swing for the opposite teams. Is my butt hanging out?
Who wears short shorts?
I was like, Dylan, do you remember what language this is, or how they, like, when they use hola to say hello? And he was like, I don't speak Spanish, I speak French. Bonjour.
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 Somebody go match my freak. Should I wear my hat backwards or forward?
I don't know, Ben. Do you want all the ladies coming after you because you wore your hat backwards?
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. Hat backwards is like, we're here to do business.
That type of business?
Any business.
Your legs are looking frackin' swirl.
Frickin' swole.
What are you doing when they're squatting into some weights, lifting on warps?